So I had to hurry up and scribble the directions from Gully and Woody's house in the Holy Bible. And I used it as a map to get back. And this is how I survived. Because I remember it was maps in the back of the Bible. Going back to something. Mediterranean Sea, the migration of Abraham. And I'm his child. His grandchild, great. But that's my forefather. And so I wrote the map from their house. Because they were trying to set me up out there, and it was dark and it was in the woods. And my phone was on 2%, and I would have gotten lost. And I would have been stuck out there with all them people plotting on my life. But I wrote the directions down, and once I made it up to this part, I accidentally put I-75 south, but actually I was supposed to go north. And a black man gave me a ride when he saw me walking down the highway and dropped me off at Lakewood Fort McPherson. And I waited right there until the train started running, and I got on the train. And I made it. And they still plotting. Okay, so God blessed me. God blessed me for this information that I'm about to give. They're swarming around. They're trying to drive real fast to make noise so that you guys cannot hear what I'm saying. So I'm going to speak with a louder tone to let you guys know what is going on right now. Okay, so I was sleeping. Well, I wasn't sleeping because it was too cold to go to sleep. But I was sitting over at the West End, and they relentlessly tried to have me out in the cold, knowing that I'm pregnant. So I was sitting out there at the West End. They allowed me to sit out there through the coldest hours up until about 4 a.m. There was a man who came up to me named Marcus. But before he came up to me, so this was around the time where the young man, first of all, let me tell you where I'm at. I'm on Campbellton Road. So, okay, the young man tried to set me up at 5 Points to have me arrested, trying to stage an altercation. He's been continuing to try to ask me, where are you? Let me give you money. I'm sorry. You know, steady trying to set me up, right? So, there was another black man named James DeMarco something. I don't know if it was Brown or whatever, but it was James DeMarco. That's his middle name. And I saw that off of a handicap sticker that he had. He was telling me he was going to help me, you know, get into a shelter, and that he was going to help me out with money to try to find me a job, you know, and then that he would allow me to sleep in his car that night. And I told him I was not a prostitute. He said he wasn't that type of guy. He was trying to keep me from going to sleep because, you know, the Lord, he consults with us while we're asleep a lot of the time, warns us about things that they are trying to do to us. And it helps us avoid a lot of pitfalls and be able to expose devils and people working in the midst of this military operation to try to have me killed in America because I shot a young white man in self-defense. So, basically, he tried to put me out of his car in the middle of the night at 12 p.m. He tried to stage an altercation and put me out of his car like I was a prostitute because I would not have sex with him. This was another setup. So I got out of that setup, and I was sitting over at the West End. They allowed me to sit out there until about 4 a.m. There were men coming up, you know, talking to me. But around 4 a.m., this man named Marcus showed up. And he was telling me that he had just left a club, that he had somewhere where he could, because he's not too far from here, so I don't want to be too loud. I don't want him to hear. But he was telling me he had his own place and somewhere where I could stay warm. And I was like, well, it's not an abandoned house, is it? How long have you been living here? He was like, well, I've been living there a couple of months. And then he was telling me something about a tree had fallen into the property, but he stayed like in the back room. And, I was like, hoping, hey, maybe this is going to be somebody who's not involved. But God did let me know a long time ago when I was over at Henry Brown and Cannon Jewett's at 9035 Tite Street, near 5th Ward. The Holy Spirit told me that I needed to start reaching out to people outside of the country because of what America was trying to do. So God was letting me know that I would not really be able to trust anyone, that this was an operation where I would not be able to trust anyone. Excuse me. I had to walk off because a woman and a meal just came up to the bus stop, and they like to try to hear everything that I'm saying, showing you guys how this operation is working. So I'm going to go across the street and sit at the other bus stop because I'm going to go back to this male's house where all my things are, but I can't tell y'all what's going on while I'm in his presence. Because he is involved. So God was letting me know that this is an operation where they're going to be trying to do this. Okay, so the bus stop over here was wet. It doesn't have the thing over it, and it was raining, so I'm not able to sit down. But I still have to let this be known before I go back to this man's house. God let me know that this was going to be an operation that they were going to be doing all over America, that there would be no one that I can trust. I was very suspicious about the deaths of Corinne Gaines and Sandra Bland. I knew that the black people were going out there advocating for them, so they kind of had the wool pulled over my eyes. But I knew that there was something wrong with how they were trying to paint them out to be mental, and then just excusing the deaths of these black women as if it was okay to just kill a black woman that you claim had mental issues. So let me just go back to what's going on with this man. So he brought me over to this property. He brought me inside, and he has 2 extra bedrooms where I could sleep in one bedroom and he could have one bedroom, but we've been in one bedroom together. I've been sleeping on one side of the room. He's sleeping on the other side of the room. And he's saying that his phone is off, and has been asking me to hook up my hotspot so that he could have contact with people. And they've been messaging his phone relentlessly while I'm there. He did get up and leave a couple of times while I was there asleep. He was trying to keep me from going to sleep, which is what they do, because, God does talk to me. He does warn me through the Holy Spirit when I'm asleep. He shows me a lot of the plots. So they have been trying to deprive me of sleep as well. I wasn't having it. I went to sleep. The Lord did reveal to me a lot of these plots or whatever while I was asleep. And I made a video about that that's loading right now. So that one should be loaded up first. And this young man, he only had a little bit of toilet paper in there. And the toilet paper ran out. So there is no toilet paper in the home. And they want me in a home where, yeah, it's warm. I got heat, but he was blasting the heat too much. And I told him to turn it down. Because I told you they'll dry me out with that heat. He did turn it down. He opened up a window. He did things to make sure I was cool. I went and got groceries, just a little bit of food for me to eat there. He was cool about letting me come back and stay. So everything seemed cool, but God is not going to lie to me when he told me that this is an operation that they're going to be doing all over America. You need to reach outside of the country because they're going to keep trying to set you up. So, of course, I've been wanting someone to really be in my corner that was not involved, but I cannot help what they are doing, what they are trying to do. And this is what God said, that America, the Americans are trying to do this. And they done dug themselves in too deep of a hole at this point that they have to try to go through with what they're trying to do to me to keep from being exposed any further from what they have already done. So basically the young man, he did not bring any toilet paper. So they all of a sudden the toilet stopped working. We're in the bathroom where I was using. The toilet is not working. There's no furniture in the house. The front door is barricaded. At Barbara's house, the front door was barricaded and locked. It was locked where you could not get out the front door. There's a tree falling in his living room that's blocking the front door. So I would not be able to get out of the front door. And then at Henry Brown and Cannon Jewett's, the front door had the locks torn off and it was locked shut. and he tried to bring in a police officer in the back door to try to set something up, knowing that I have not done anything wrong, despite what they're trying to pull off. So right now they're trying to paint me out to be like I'm mental, and trying to keep me from exposing the evidence about what they did to me and my pregnancy, and because they took my son from me illegally and gave my son to this white woman, and they were trying to sacrifice me and my children in this satanic cult. So I have family that are in this satanic cult, and they are no thank you, a part of this nation, and this nation is under satanic powers. It's under a satanic rule, and it's at this point where if you're going to stay in this country, you're going to have to be down with this coven. You're going to have to be down with these blood sacrifices, these satanic blood rituals about these African American women. You're going to have to just pretend like you don't know what really happened, knowing that it was an operation to have these women killed, and it's because of a bloodline. The young men who are helping, it is because of a bloodline. The young men who are helping them are a part of this bloodline. I have whatever they're trying to get rid of about this bloodline is in my blood. It is they are dark-skinned males. Yes, I'm mixed with Indian, but the bloodline that I have inside of me, and that these young men have, is little black boys. It's like a group of dark-skinned black boys, our ancestors, a group of dark-skinned black women, our ancestors, and we have their bloodline, and they are trying to kill their bloodline in America. And if you're not going to help them, they're going to kill you too. So basically, that's what these young men are trying to do, and these African American women, they are trying to help these white people kill off this bloodline, and they are being promised wealth and success in the society if they denounce Jehovah, the Lion of Judah, his bloodline, and kill the bloodline of our ancestors, which is still in us. So this is what is going on. This is why we were targeted. This is why they are doing what they are doing. And my son has the bloodline. I have the bloodline. Yes, we are mixed, but we still have the bloodline. And these children, these our brothers, our brethren who have this bloodline, they're over here helping them try to kill as many of us as possible to try to save themselves. And I don't think that it will work out good for them in the end anyway if it's not that many of us here to help them fight. I don't really think they're really looking at how this can happen. Like, if they were to kill all the rest of us who have this bloodline, they really think that they're going to be safe just because they help them and just because they got money and cars? No, that means you guys are fewer in number and they can go ahead and kill y'all too. But they have hits on these males. They have hits on these males. The male that I am with right now, he told me that he did 12 years in prison for armed robbery. He shot somebody. So, you know, they're getting criminals. And these young men, they don't want to go to these facilities where they know they are committing murders, in these facilities where they know who the devil is, where they know who Satan is, where they know what these whites are actually doing, where they have been involved with murders. They don't want to be in custody of these people. They want to be free. And there is no way for them to be able to do that unless they help these white people go through with these murders, or they'll be arrested and they'll be killed, because they're the first ones who they really wanted dead in the first place was the males. So the males are afraid for their own lives, and they're out here trying to help them kill because the Holy Spirit revealed to me that the man, James DeMarco, that there's a hit on him. Where the light? The bathroom light off. Oh no, I was trying to cut the bathroom light off. Hey, what you doing? Okay. Well, I'm waiting on somebody, I'm a friend that's supposed to be trying to help me out. I'll probably be back over there in a little while. All right. Huh? Okay. Okay, so I was getting on the train to ride to an area where I could get good service, because the area that I'm in right now, I'm not getting good service to load my videos. I tried to use my debit card because I don't have enough money to take out the cash, but it is enough for me to be able to get a card to load my card, my Breeze card. And at first the mortar machine was taking my debit card, but it would not allow me to enter my PIN number, and I could not charge it as a credit because it's a debit card, and it would not push it wouldn't push the numbers in for my PIN. So it would process it as a debit card payment, but then it wanted you to enter your PIN, and when you press the button, the numbers would not come up on the screen. So I couldn't finish the transaction. And then when I went to try to press the debit card again on another machine, all of the machines stopped reading my card. All of a sudden, my card would not read on any of the machines after it was reading my card and trying to give me the option to enter my PIN. Now it's not reading my card at all, and saying that they cannot process my card for the payments for me to get on the bus. So this is what's going on.